And we're back for game number 2 of this best of 3. Zenith taking on Neolution.Thailand. And yeah, well, I mean, they got a kill. Neolution did. They put up a 1, put up a breadstick instead of a bagel, and they got that going for them. They're going to roll in at least having drawn some kind of blood against Zenith, but jokes aside. Neolution, now don't get me wrong, if you watched my previous broadcast of Neolution.Thailand when they upset Tongfu, I was high on them. Still am, and I love it. I love it. Neolution's a mid player. Changed his name back to Teletubby. That was the problem. I just noticed it. I thought that was him, and he was running under a different name. But now that it's Teletubby, Queen of Pain, give me a Queen of Pain pick. Show it to me. Show it to me, Neolution.Thailand. Show me a Queen of Pain pick. You've got a Nyx Assassin. Oh, he had to give away a Bad Rider to get it, but that's okay. Show me a Queen of Pain pick, pretty please. And the reason I'm so excited, if you have no idea why the hell this broadcaster is freaking out, it's because Neolution.Thailand is in the midst of a Cinderella story. Well, that story put in some serious jeopardy. The pumpkin carriage kicked into the curb and left to rot for the winner by Zenith in game 1. Neolution got past a very highly rated Tongfu squad. Now, even though Tongfu had undergone a considerable number of roster shifts, they still were considered the favorite, obviously, in that match against a completely unknown Neolution.Thai squad. And Neolution got past them, just flat out beat them 2-0. And so they've been on a fairy tale run up to this point, but game number 1 did not exactly go their way, to put it kindly. About a 20-minute GG, 18-1 the final kill score, and it was actually kind of, I like it. I like the pride. Neolution knew the game was over, but they kept playing until they got 1 kill. As soon as they got 1 kill, they typed the GG that was long overdue. But anyway, they're gonna look to turn things around. They're gonna pick up a Darkseer, and I want to see a Queen of Pain pick. Come on, Teletubby, Teletubby. Come on, you can do it for me. All right, I'll quit. I'm not trolling, by the way. I'm excited. I want to see them give me some drama. How about we take a look at the bands and take an actual as high level as I can deliver anyway, approach to it. Up Invoker actually going to be the pick, so Teletubby may be looking to impress us with another high caliber mid if he can make it work for them. You just don't see Invoker go mid that much anymore, just because he's been nerfed into the ground more or less. If you go mid, you have to go Exord. There's just no other way to build him and him have any real sort of mid viability, but then you also have to spend one of your early points on W, or on your Wex, I should say, just to make sure that you have a QQ walk at ready to draw on in case there's some pressure. Otherwise, you're extremely gankable. You honestly, 9 times out of 10, want to start with something like Claws of Attack and just for the bonus damage, just to give you a chance to hang in with last hits and denying early on while you're still working up points in Wex. And it's a hero that's really hard to run effectively in that slot now. And for the most part, when you're talking about an Exord Invoker is going to give you a lot. He's going to give you a lot of single target damage, a decent amount of AoE damage. He's going to give you the ability to literally have a presence anywhere on the map via Sunstrike. But you just don't have all of the initiation potential, all of the abilities that he has to draw upon to break a chain of initiation from another team. And Zenith getting their hands on 3 very high-tier heroes. I mean, Nyx Assassin, Darkseer, nothing to sleep on. But with a Bad Rider and a Lone Druid and a Shadow Demon, that right there is just, it doesn't get a lot more solid than that. It really doesn't. So moving through, looking at the bands, didn't even really get to talk much about those. Lifestealer, Keeper of the Light, just strong heroes. Tinker and Magnus banned out by Neolution. Queen of Pain still around, but again, having given away the Bad Rider. Most likely, if they run the Invoker mid, which still isn't completely decided, by the way. In many cases, you'll see an offensive trial lane run, and then Invoker will take a solo safe lane. I actually feel like that's one of the more optimal ways to run him now, because it's a lot easier to send him some help if he needs it. If he's in a bad situation, it's much easier to send him a support and buy him some time to farm and to at least keep himself together if he's in a solo safe lane situation. The band's coming out of Zenith, just trying to take away as much right-click damage as they can. They get rid of a Luna, Phantom Lancer, and Shadow Fiend. That's 3 heroes that really, I mean, Phantom Lancer is known as just a late-game monster. He is one of the more potent agility carries in the late game, and Neolution's going to show us a Wisp. I like it. I'll tell you why I like that. It's because obviously what their plan was in game 1 wasn't going to work. They tried to farm an anti-mage. They had some pretty strong heroes, but just unable to really get much of anything done with those strong heroes. And this time, just saying, you know what? We're just going to go for it in the mid-game, man. We're going to go with a Wisp. We're going to go with an Invoker who's probably going to build Exhort. And we're going to probably partner him with a Tiny or a CK. Hell, even a Sven can work, whatever they're comfortable with. I'll tell you what I would love to see is an Ursa. I'm going to throw that out there just because Neolution.Thai has shown us some creative picks in the past. Wisp Ursa is actually really potent. If you can get the Ursa off to a good start, if you can execute things properly. Wisp Ursa, and then build a Diffusal Blade on him. I've never seen that done in a professional game, but I would love to see it done. And it is going to be CK, so QQ, but at the same time, always fun to watch a Wisp and a CK. Now, what the watchword's going to be here, and what's going to end up happening, they actually could offensively trialing this. It would be very, very risky to do that into a Shadow Demon Juggernaut. And Leshrac is banned out. Lena's available if they want to pick her up. And I would really like to see them pick Alina here, actually. If they pick Alina, there's absolutely no way they can pressure a tri-lane from Zenith. In fact, if they pick Alina, Zenith is just going to offensively tri-lane and say the hell with it. There's no reason for them not to. Jakiro, another very good choice here. If they want, even a Venomancer could work pretty well if they want to move in that direction. Invoker, looking at the lineup, will end up going mid. Darkseer likely to wind up in the woods or in that off lane. Zenith taking their sweet, sweet time, trying to figure out what hero they want to use to round out their lineup. But as always, the onus is going to be completely on Neolution to execute here. They will be facing an offensive tri-lane, pretty much without a doubt. That lone druid pickup. I mean, oh, wow. That's actually going to be, if I had to guess, a support Naga Siren. And they're going to run her in the offensive trial lane, and they're going to use Ensnare to follow up Disruption. And it's going to guarantee the Juggernaut is going to get every ounce of Blade Fury damage off. I really like that pickup. It's something I've only seen a couple of times before, a support Naga Siren. They could even split farm if they really wanted to, because neither one of those heroes particularly needs a ton of farm to be effective if you build them a certain way and if you intend to use them for a certain purpose. Druid will want that solo safe lane as he always does. Bad Rider, obviously, one of the most dominant mid heroes in the entire game, if not the single most dominant mid hero in the entire game. And I worry for Neolution. I really do. Big problem they're going to have is mana. Wisp will be able to help with that, of course, just by Tether and his ability to help the regen of both CK and Nyx Assassin. But I honestly think Wisp is going to get himself a quick bottle here. He should, to be completely honest with you. In fact, one of the more creative ways I've seen a tri lane like this run, where you have a very mana-hungry CK, a very mana-hungry Nyx Assassin, or another very mana-hungry support, is you actually get two bottles. You get a very quick bottle up on your CK and one up on your Wisp, and then you bottle Crow, and you can get basically 2 for 1 every time you make a trip. And it basically guarantees that these heroes never run out of mana. Now, Wisp in and of himself is going to be able to help out Entresso quite a lot. And they're actually not going to tri-lane this. They're going to run a duo mid. The potential was there. I just really thought they'd look for some kind of stability. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're actually going to long lane the Druid. Huh. That's really surprising to me. That is extremely surprising to me. I have no idea why they would long lane the Druid here. And maybe that's just beyond my ken. They have such a strong kill potential lineup here with the Juggernaut, the Shadow Demon, and the Naga Siren. Naga is going to be running in a support role, as we can see. She's picked up nothing but regen and a Sentry Ward. Going to go ahead and counter ward a bit. Ain't nothing wrong with taking some vision. But if they had decided to offensively tri-lane this with the duo mid, and they might even change it up eventually, they would have just eaten Invoker and Nyx Assassin for lunch. There's nothing these two heroes can do against that tri-lane. Still really surprised they're actually going to go ahead with this. But as it is, how about we run through our lineup, see who's going to be handling who. Noxum going to be playing on our Nyx Assassin. Wisp will be handled by Upper. Darkseer played by KYT. We're going to have Invoker played by Teletubby. Back to his proper name. Maybe that'll change his luck. Poor bear going to eat an impale in the meantime. Doing what druids do. Still in the creep wave and making life hard. CK will be taken mid by Entresso. Helped out by Upper, who will be trying to keep his buddy together. This is going to be a hard knock life, though. Especially as Bad Rider continues to get more levels. It is going to be very difficult. This is a very gankable CK. Very, very gankable CK if they decide to give him any attention whatsoever. On the side of Zenith, going to have Freedom handling our Naga Siren. She will be playing once again a support Naga Siren. Ice, just one Ice. This time will be on Shadow Demon. We're going to have Yamate playing on our Juggernaut. I've been calling him MWP, hold that thought. We've got a lot of attention being given to mid. I have been calling him MWP largely because I just like to call players by the names that they have listed in game so as not to confuse viewers. But enough people said, please call him Yamate in the stream chat that I've decided to do what I need to do. Back to the Druid. Ice, Ice, Ice will be handling our Lonesome Druid and Bad Rider, handled by XY. All right, so this mid lane obviously going to be getting a lot of attention. Ice has made his way down here. This is going to be a free farming lane for Juggernaut, and we're going to see Naga just hang out and do her thing for now, just so she can get a few levels. Now, what they're going to be able to do is push unbelievably hard. Talked about, I'm still just a little dumbfounded that they're not actually running an offensive tri lane. I mean, what in the hell would a Nyx Assassin and an Invoker be able to do against that combination? They would not be able to get anywhere near the creep wave without risking a death every single time. But anyway, the push potential of a Juggernaut, he will be putting 2 points at the very least into his healing ward. He's got 2 into Blade Fury, that's standard. He'll get his 2nd point into healing ward, and at that point, he's really free to do whatever the hell he wants. They can start pushing at that point when he's at level 4 and do so pretty confidently. You're going to have the pushing power of Lone Druid. I feel pretty confident that he's going to go with some sort of a split push-oriented build. Going something like a Maelstrom build. Even a Radiance. I don't like Radiance really a lot in situations like this. Whenever you're trying to get a mid-game win, instead just get the more secure item that you can eventually build into another late-game item. But he might end up doing something like that just depending on how good of a start he gets off to. Hell, he could even go arm, but now they're going to go ahead and engage. They're going to catch one. That's XY in trouble, eating a lot of damage. And the disruption, nope, not even going to be spent. He doesn't even have a point into disruption. Just noticed that. Did not put his first point into disruption. I thought he was level 2, and that's where and how he was throwing out a shadow poison. So, yeah, that's basically useless. Ice unable to help his buddy at all. Is level 2. Now they're going to try to get the return kill. And beautifully timed flame break. Now he's going to take the flight Firefly, doing damage. Can they catch him? They can. It's not first blood, but it makes it 1-1. And look at it this way, guys. Neolution has already tied their performance in game 1. We're only 3 minutes into this game, and yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But 1-1, 3.5 minutes in, and both teams swinging hard and swinging often. Back down here, Lone Druid continuing to do his dirty work. He's sitting at 9 last hits, not anywhere near where he wants to be, but getting some farm at the very least, and not really being pushed off of experience that much. So, at the very least, he's got that going for him. He's level 4. Compare that to the level 2 of the Nyx Assassin and the level 4 of the Invoker. Yamate getting all the farm his little Juggerheart ever wanted. Sitting at 25 last hits. He's just short of 4 minutes into this game and still farming quite well. And looks like he's going to be getting up his phase boots. Has a Bassi up as well. Not going to have to worry too much about any contention for the moment. Taking a look at Ice, Ice, Ice. Not much to report. He's got his tier 1s. We'll keep an eye on his inventory to see what he eventually wants to pick up. And bottle was picked up. It's actually on the Darkseer right now. I'm a little surprised to see that, to be honest. Our Wisp, in the meantime, moving back through the jungle. He's got a bottle on him as well, so they are going with that dual bottle approach. And again, the mana regen is very important for them. We're going to see them go for a gank on the Druid. Not going to work. And Wisp playing mobile, usually what most Wisps want to do is just play a very calm early game. Just take the path of least resistance to level 6. And a let you know he means business Chaos Bolt thrown out there. A casual Chaos Bolt, if you will, which is the name of my bartender's favorite drink. But anyway, up at top, Naga, just about level 4. Hasn't put a point in the mirror image yet. Thought she might actually start putting points into that after 1 point in the Riptide and 1 point into Ensnare. If for no other reason, the ability push. And there's going to be a Flame Break. 4-second Chaos Bolt bought them time. The Disruption, though, 5 stacks on the Sticky Napalm disappear while he's disrupted. They're going to counter-engage. Firefly is there, and they're going to try to pursue this out. They're going to get the Bad Rider. The strike from Invoker not even needed. And Neolution making this lineup work. 2-1. They're doing much better in this game compared to game 1, but then again, it'd be pretty tough not to. Teletubby is going the XOR build as anticipated. Actually hasn't put a single point into Wex yet, so playing YOLO style. Not too interested in QQ walking.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Top tower under assault. MWP beginning to stretch his legs a bit up here with those face boots freshly finished. He's already level 6 on his way to level 7. Ice looking for a place to show his face. Going to spot a double damage rune. He'll take that happily. And here we go. They're going to re-engage. XY. Firefly trying to find some safety. He's going to have... Oh, actually, yeah, he's just dead again. This is bizarre to me. And he may get a return kill here. He is going to get a return kill here, actually. Well done, Ice. Trading Bat Rider for CK, just about an even trade. But I'm a little surprised that they're letting mid go the way that it is. I honestly get the impression that they're not super experienced against a Wisp. And maybe that's me speaking out of turn. But they don't seem to be dealing with it. You have to understand and have a lot of vision if you're going to go toe-to-toe with a CK who has a Wisp hovering around, because he will just be tethered to out of nowhere and will immediately jump you with a Chaos Bolt and Reality Rift. You just have to know. If not, you have to play a lot further back, and Ice going to eat himself a Sunstrike and an auto. Oh, wow. One salve keeps him up and going. Good play from Ice in between auto attacks, healing himself up just enough. And, oh boy, needs to think about going back to base. Playing very ballsy, hanging out there right at this moment. KYT beginning to move himself across the map considerably. Back to the Naga Siren. She'll be 6 soon. And it will be an Aquile pick up for Yamate. So just playing a very solid build. Want to see if he's going to go that Shadow Blade build I've been seeing more and more. Or not. I really don't mind it in this situation, given you have the late game carry potential of a Lone Druid. And Juggernaut, not a particularly spectacular late game carry to begin with, so just being able to capitalize on his mid game potential from his skill set, because you have this safety belt that is this big rambling bear. And his panda bear, who I would say ambulates instead of rambles. But they still haven't brought down this tier 1 top. That's actually, and they managed to get Dyer's Courier. Wow, Zenith. I didn't even see how that happened. Gotta guess it happened down here, maybe. But 8 minutes in, and oh, he thought about it. Thought better of it. They still haven't brought down this tier 1 top. And I'm a little surprised that they haven't, actually. Darksail, as potent as it is, should not be enough to zone him off of that if he really wants to take the tower. Bad Rider has made his way up. He is level 6. Gonna find some free gold here stacked up for him quite kindly by his support staff, laying on the stacks of sticky napalm. And right now, I gotta say, Entreso's playing a friggin' good game of Dota, man. Twice now, we've seen him think about engaging and then back off. We've seen him pull the trigger whenever the opportunity presented itself. And this comes back to what I was saying in game 1. This is the way that, if you're up against a team who, let's be honest, is gonna have more raw skill and more experience than you do. And I'm not trash-talking Neolution. It's just reality. Hold on, speaking of reality, Reality Rift might be the calling card of another kill on XY. Nope, he will make it away. They're going to relocate down to bottom. And they're going to catch Ice. There's going to be a fortuitous route. Here comes the Sunstrike, though. The rock's going to drop it. Here comes Yamase. Blade Fury on the Demonic Persian Entreso. They want to re-engage. There goes the Omni Slash and the Ensnare on Teletubby. They're tied up at 3. No more. Teletubby will drop, make it 4-3, and there's the big turnaround. Now that's what I was driving at before that fight broke out, was that Neolution needs to pick lineups and execute lineups that can take Zenith out of their rhythm. When you're up against a team who you feel confident is just better, either in individual skill, experience, composition, whatever. I mean, let's just be honest. Zenith is a better team, at least at this stage in their development. When you're up against a team like that, the best way to get a win is not to turtle out and let that team fall into a rhythm. It's to apply pressure and to try to force them to make mistakes that you can capitalize on. Ooh, XY turned around just in time. Now he's got some help. Impale's not going to quite finish him off. Oxen blows the carapace, and that plus the magic wand, not quite enough. 2-second Chaos Bolt to follow it up. Here comes KYT vacuuming him back. He will be finished up, so the return kill goes the direction of Neolution.Thai. But this is what you want to do. Get kills. Play frantic. That's how they beat Tongfu. You look at the way the Neolution Orange played and executed in that game. They were all over the map all the time, pouring the pressure on. And the feel of this game, compared to Game 1, where they just turtled out and went for a carry-on-carry strat, is totally different. They feel much more in control of the pace of the game. They feel much more in control of their own fate. And Zenith, if not all the time, at least some of the time, is having to react to them. Now, they still have some things that they could shore up and improve upon. But for now, at the very least, they're able to continue to put some pressure on the Zenith. Naga Siren is level 7. She has a set of arc boots and nothing else in that inventory of hers. Drums the pickup on Yamate. Playing a very, very stable build on Juggernaut. And I would imagine pushes aplenty going to be coming now. And this is one way to negate, and it seems really intuitive. It seems really obvious. But, oh wow, Wisp going to eat an Omni Slash now. The Blade Fury, there's a Courier just hanging out right in the trees as well. Oxum going to be there. He's going to be ensnared down, but Yamate decides to take off. Sunstrike is going to be coming down. Didn't see where it connected, but there's the Naga Sleep. And not liking their odds. They're just going to go ahead and back up. But here comes XY. Doesn't have a Blink Dagger, has his Lasso, though. They decide to just fall back in general. Now, what they're doing by putting this much pressure on, by trying to take these fights, even if they're not always at the advantage, is freeing the map up for the Lone Druid. He started out in the long lane, and this is what they need to do. Give him time to catch up. He's up to 46 last hits in comparison to the Juggernaut, who's actually on top. Invoker sitting at 54, not bad for himself. But up, there's a Lasso going to catch Intresso. There's the Ensnare. That's a dead CK. Did not go quietly, but went nonetheless. And here's a problem with another similar problem that we saw in Game 1. When he's off the map, where's their damage? Vacuum Wall, okay. Single target burst on Nyx, okay. Where's their damage other than that? Yes, they have a carry Invoker that is going pure Exort. But he is, I mean, he's just not going to be that big of a threat. Finally has to point into Wex. But an Invoker going this build and at this stage is going to be much better suited to striking from a distance, from being artillery. The drop in the rock, dropping Sunstrikes, using Deafening Blast, and so on. You don't want him being the primary target because your CK is gone. And in fairness, though, Neolution has done a fantastic job of keeping these towers up. I'm really impressed by that alone. This top tier 1 still stands. Tier 1 mid still stands. They lost bottom, but that's just going to happen when you lose a fight in that close of proximity to your own tower. But they're keeping this close. But what I was in the process of saying is the one way you can counter a CK and a Wisp combo is just to go fight. CK Wisp and their relocate ganks only work if a few elements are in place. Namely, they need to be a little bit ahead. They need to have vision, very good vision all over the map. And they need to have space to get in, get a kill, and then teleport away before there's a big reaction. And in Zenith's case, they're beginning to just run as 5, and the gaps for Intresso aren't there. Or if they are, they're a little too risky for him to just take a shot, knowing that Zenith's just going to be a little bit away, a few steps away, just around the corner. And Ice is the only one that really makes an obvious gank target, but even that's risky. Because all the towers still stand for Zenith, so if you try to gank between the towers at this point, and here they're going to go for it. Now that, yeah, this is what I was just about to say, the TP reactions are going to come. Here comes the Sunstrike, and they may get Ice, they do, but now they're going to get counter-engaged 1 second, and they do manage to get away. This is actually fairly well executed. They're going to end up trading 1 for 1, most likely. And Noxum's actually enough to scare them away. They didn't come in force. They did manage to take a tier 1 in mid at the same time. But now they're going to re-engage. XY gonna be bailed out by his... No! The Naga Siren! Not enough to bail him out. Freedom tried his best, but his buddy ended up dead. And that really should have just been a full reaction out of Zenith. I'm a little surprised that they did that the way they did. The point I was going to make was that whenever you try to gank a Lone Druid who's tough to bring down, even in numbers, that close to a tier 1 that's still standing, is you can expect big return ganks. You can expect TP reactions. But Zenith didn't come in force. They sent two of the worst off of their heroes. Now they're going to go in. Here we go, wanting to engage. Ice back up. Intresso going to get the last hit on the tower, but he is snared down. They're going to clean up the Wisp now. Intresso's turn. Throws out a 4-second Chaos Bolt. The Bear looking for another route. In the meantime, Ice is right there and tries a Reality Rifts to put some more distance between him and the enemy team. There's the drums. He's going to get away, and Noxum has a chance to get away. Wow. I'm a little surprised there that they didn't get more done. Neolution, all things told, they traded a Wisp for a tower. That's okay. That's not a bad trade at all. We're 16 minutes in. And it's a barn burner. 8-9. Taking a look at the gold for the first time. The gold relatively close. About 2,500 separating these two teams. Zenith in the lead there. And in terms of experience, just about the same number. But when you compare it to an 18-1 20-minute stomp at game 1, I'd say Neolution has bounced back well. And I love seeing this out of teams. If you ask me what impresses you the most about teams that you think are going to be good but are still in the early phases of their development, it's two things that Neolution is showing me. One, they're bouncing back from a tough loss. They didn't just come in here, pick some cheese strategy, go all in on it, and then type GG at 16 minutes because they didn't racks at 20, or 15 minutes. They pick a solid lineup, and yes, it is kind of a gimmick lineup. I mean, I think that's a pretty good way to sum up a lineup like this. They really can't rely on the Invoker to outcarry a Lone Druid late. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So they're really all in on the idea of CK and Wisp executing. Now, gimmick does not mean rare, by the way. I've had a number of conversations with viewers and such. Just because I label Wisp CK as gimmicky in this case, doesn't mean that it's like, oh, wow, it's gimmicky because the other team's not going to expect it. No, it's not a rare pick at all, but you have to execute. You have to get your kills, and this is a good way to do that. Catching out a Jugger who really had no business being there. None whatsoever. In the meantime, looks like they may get a return kill. Instead, going to catch KYT. Going to try to TP away. He's going to be disrupted out of it. And, yeah, he is blocked on all sides. Gets one vacuum as a how do you do. But they end up going 1-for-1, trading Jugger for Darkseer. But anyway, you have to have your CK doing well. He has gone for a very, very all-around good build. Going straight from treads to his drum. I'm a little surprised he put 1 point into... Well, I don't know. He is level 10. Maybe he just put that in. Usually don't want points into your ultimate on a CK until you've hit level 2, so you'll put 1 point into 10 and 1 into 11.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Zenith going to try to force a reaction now. Going to work on the tier up. They actually got ice with that. Going to work on the tier 1. Looks like they want to trade this around. And they're going to go ahead and engage. Yamate going to go into Blade Fury, doing some good damage, or the TP's going to come. There's a Phantasm. Now the Omni Slash. Spread out among creeps, though, but he actually got a bunch of jumps on upper. That's really bad luck for that Wisp. And now NWP going to charge back out. And Batrider spots it. No! Ooh, thought he whiffed on it. Thought he just fat-fingered it, but nope. They get the return kill. 12-9, they get the tier 1, and the tower still stands in their own bottom lane. Playing this pretty well. Blink Dagger now done on XY, as we saw. Freedom with his magic stick and his boots knocks him. Same story. Basically the survival kit for a support at this stage of the game. And Zenith beginning to open this map up a little bit. 5,000 and coming up on 7,500. Now, this is where Neolution starts to get in the dangerous territory. You have a little room for error with a lineup like they have. They have a lineup that can turn a lot of fights around. They can get a lot of return kills. But if you get too far behind in experience, your CK, who is so reliant on levels and so reliant on getting kills, not farming lanes, if he gets behind in levels, then he has trouble even killing supports like he should. Here we go. We're going to see Juggernaut spin his way away. Freedom actually used his Song of the Siren there. I think Jugger was disappointed. I think he wanted to fight. But anyway, up knocks him. He's got his eye on a courier. Not quite going to be able to get to it. Sentry just went down from ice. But when he gets too far behind in terms of levels, we'll take a look at that now. Yeah, he's level 10. Compare that to the 14 of the Juggernaut, the 12, or he's level 11 now. The 14 of the Juggernaut and the 12 of the Lone Druid. This is tenuous territory. He needs to be even or ahead, not behind. He's going to have a very hard time in getting the most of his skill set against the two primary targets that are Juggernaut and Lone Druid. Take a look at the net worth. Top 2 farmers, 3 of the top 4, all belonging to Zenith. 7,500 on our Invoker. He's on his way to an Ags, it would seem. Has added a point booster as well as an Ogre Club to his inventory to go with his drums. And now Roche going to be the target. Haven't really taken a look at Ice in a while. He did go ahead and go the Maelstrom build. Thumbs up to you, my friend. Love that choice. Love that choice. A little surprised he got a Midas, but I'm okay with that too. Just that's a safety belt item in this case. He got off to a good recovery. He didn't get off to the best start in history, but he did recover quickly, so picking that up. Not a bad call at all, just to give you a little bit more of late game stability. Guarantee that your gold is going to continue to roll in, even if this game does go another 30 minutes. The Invoker going to have to really make his presence known soon. He's only got 1 point in the wax, so he is maxing Quas Exhort. Pretty well anticipated. Knocks him. Took a lot of damage somewhere. I'm going to guess he tried to get in a fight with a bear, and the bear was having none of it. And WP's actually gotten an Ags as well. So yeah, this is kind of what I anticipated and what I said I hope they did, is build Juggernaut completely for the mid game. I thought they would go with the Shadow Blade build, but instead, going with this, it works just as well. Just means you're a lot more reliant on your ultimate, and even at level 2, the amount of jumps is pretty high with that Ags. So, Zenith now rattling their saber as they make their way down this bottom lane. We've got 2 from Neolution up in top lane. And really no way that they can defend this tower at all. They might push for racks here. They might just dare them to fight. They've got an Aegis on the Druid, why not? The Bear and Demolish. Gotta be pretty tough order to deal with now. 12-9. They're actually gonna TP at least. Yeah, they're just gonna TP out. I'm a little surprised. I guess they want to try to clear the remaining tier 2s and just play this methodical. Ice. Back to farming. Up in this top lane. We'll see what his next pickup's going to be. Could go either way, really. CK has added an armlet. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty typical stuff. BKB likely to be next, and they're going to go ahead and go for a gank. And no, they're not going to go for a gank. Wisp is going to show up. They go, broski. It's alright. He won't be able to make it away safely. 23 minutes into this game, Neolution putting up a much more impassioned resistance here in Game 2, but still trailing. 7,500 gold coming up on 10,000 experience at this point. The Tier 2 mid seems to be the target. Teletubby, who has been quiet this game, he was the superstar of our of their first appearance here in Phase 2. A guy that I was all about. Game 1 just didn't feel a whole lot of influence from him, and Game 2, to be honest, have not felt a whole lot of influence from him. He's hit himself a couple of Sunstrikes, but for the most part, just have not felt anywhere near what we felt out of him in their initial appearance. And here we go. Just look at the bear chunk that tower. Just so hard to deal with. Wisp is actually going to be the target of the lasso. Probably could have found a more high-profile target. Now the Omni Slash goes off, and it's going to bounce forever. Teletubby locked down. There's the follow-up Omni Slash. And Tresso's still up, but has to fall back. They managed to get 2. Ice locks down both of those kills. And with the Invoker down, and the CK hurting, they may just push. And when I say hurting, I don't necessarily mean that he's low health. I thought he used Phantasm there. He does have Phantasm, so they've got that going for them. And they may decide, no, just going to fall back. They have some patience. I'll give them that. The Aegis still has a few minutes on it. And they may just go ahead, shove the lanes back out, then immediately try to take down the last remaining Tier 2. Makes sense to me. Hyperstone added to the inventory of the bear now. So he will be on his way to an Assault Cuirass, one would imagine. Could just go straight up to a Mjolnir if he really wanted to. Hear a Sunstrike somewhere, not sure where. Looks like it was to the north of Yamata. And Tresso and Upper started out okay, but have since fallen to 3 and 9 collectively. And this is just, again, the situation you can't find yourself in if you're playing a CK. You cannot fall behind. You don't need a lot of items if you have levels. But you get to 25 minutes, and you're behind, it's problematic. Gonna have a disruption, and Tresso able to fall back. They do manage to get the tower in the meantime. And Teletubby setting up shop under the Tier 2 top. And Upper, ooh. Where's the root? Where's the root, Panda Bear? Pro roots is usually what you want to scream out right then. Seems like every time I watch a pro player play Lone Druid, they get roots for days. I play Lone Druid. The only roots I see are those of the hair I pull out because my bear does nothing. And this bear, though, looking to do some work. Going back to the shop up in top lane. Tier 2 going to be the target. And time beginning to run out for Neolution. Bear will drop. And now it's down to just the racks. And there's a flame break. Not going to knock anyone out to them, though. That Aegis will be fading soon. And yeah, that Aegis actually should have faded by now, I think. Will be fading in the next 30 seconds or so. He's just finished his Assault Cuirass, so no problem at all. And just about all but over but to crying. Aegis will be down right about now. In about 30 seconds. Bad Rider added a Force Staff as well as a Gem of True Sight to his inventory. Shadow Demon. Typical support stuff. Drum's the most popular item on the map, and for good reason. One of the most stat-efficient items in the entire game. Set on CK, set on Naga, set on Juggernaut. Jugger's actually picked up a Yasha now, so going to be even harder to run away from. Support Naga Siren, man. I'm a believer. I think it can work really well in a lot of situations. Zenith, perhaps, showing their faces down mid for the last time. If they get racks here and are able to pick a few people off, pretty sure behind the power of that panda, they're going to be able to mega them in one go. Still pretty early, so the respawn times are going to be fairly short. But I don't think they're going to have a ton of trouble. They're just so far ahead right now. And again, poor Teletubby, my MVP from their win over Tongfu. It's just not done a whole lot. Here we go. Speaking of, Teletubby going to be lassoed back, and they clean him up quickly enough. He will be knocked back and knocked down. Here comes CK, and there goes the Omni Slash going on forever with that Ags in his inventory. KYT caught out with a root. He's going to be cleaned up. They're pursuing the Nyx Assassin. That should be that. Nyx Assassin does make it away, and Entresso gets a return kill. But don't think it's going to matter. Lone Druid and his favorite pet. Just too strong. I saw Cuirass in that inventory as well. Finally completed it. Down goes the top barracks. And Druid getting a little ballsy there, buddy, but the bear shows up, says, no! You leave him alone! And here's the ensnare. Oh, Entresso locked down forever. Cleaned up. Druid gets that kill. And they should just be able to rotate to mid now. I don't really think they even need to back out. Looks like they will just for safety's sake, but that should just about be that. Just really have felt no influence out of this Invoker pick at all. And this is what I hate about an Exord Invoker. Exord Invoker is one of those heroes and one of those skill builds for a hero that if your team is already doing well, it's going to make your team just roll over someone. But if your team is needing something, is needing you to not just get a full inventory because they've already opened the map up for you and you've got a great, you know, a good amount of farm and all that. If they need something else to really stabilize them, Initiation being a good example, and you go with an Exor build instead of a Quas Wex, oftentimes you'll find yourself in this situation where he hasn't necessarily played bad, he hasn't necessarily made a ton of mistakes, but really, at what point has he been a real threat to Zenith? I mean, maybe early on, some Sunstrikes were kind of scary and had to be dodged. But since then, nothing's happened that has made him feel threatening whatsoever. And Tresso, same. He's actually going to be going, I'm going to guess, is he going to go S and Y? Could go Halberd. It's a little surprising to see Assange come out right now. Guess he can go Halberd if he really wants to. Don't know that it matters. The unfortunate thing for Neolution.Thai is they just didn't get enough out of Upper and Entresso when they had to. If we take a look at the hero levels, 14 for CK, not bad, but the targets he really wants to focus, the Juggernaut and the Lone Druid, have been ahead of him for a while now. And it doesn't really matter if your farm is as low as it is for him right now, sitting at 8,700, which he's middle of the pack. He's not like down near support territory. But the problem is that once you get behind in levels, that mid-game beast that hooks up with Wisp and just dominates the map, all of a sudden it's taken a few more swipes to clean up a support. All of a sudden, that ability to move in, kill off a hero or two, even, in 10 to 15 seconds, that stretches itself out to 15 to 20. TP reactions become more likely. Supports are beginning to get items that are going to give them some escapability and mobility. And just look how quick that Roche time. That was a 30-minute Roche. I mean, that's a pretty quick Roshan. Vlad's the pickup. Latest pickup, I should say, on Ice Ice Ice. Just guaranteeing that his team is able to close this one out. And Entresso going to be spotted out. And can they catch him? There's the Bad Rider going to lasso him out. That's the target you want to grab. Wisp is going to be disrupted as well. Entresso looking for some safety. Heading to the north, going to be cleaned up. Wisp will manage to relocate himself back to base. Oh, Wisp. Nice knowing you, buddy. We'll see you back at the base again. 20 to 10. Zenith now doubling Neolution up with that kill. Wall going to go down, and Druid does not care. Sees the wall, runs through it, says YOLO! And just going to control the high ground on his own. Good vacuum, though. Got 4. There you go. Can you follow it up? Not without a CK, you can't. That's unfortunate. Best play I think I've seen anyone on Neolution make all game. And no follow-up for it. Down goes the tier 3. We're going to see Oxum locked down with an ensnare. He's doing what damage he can. There's the Omni Slash that goes forever. Getting one more kill. Darkseer cleaned up by it. Bad Rider going to get the kill, and the GG comes out. The Cinderella story that was Neolution.Thai reaches its conclusion. And like so many bad prom nights, it's a girl back on her knees crying as she scrubs the floor. Inappropriate jokes for the win. Fantastic game out of Zenith. 20,000 gold, the differential. The difference, I should say, at the end. In excess of 20,000 experience. And they punched their ticket to move on to Phase 3 here at the G-1 Champions League Asia Qualifier. I'm Ayesee. You're on One More Game TV 2, and I hope you'll hit follow once you're back for all of the action, not just through Phase 3 of the Asian Qualifier, on through the entire tournament. In excess of $50,000 US on the line for some of the most talented teams on the face of the planet. Phase 3 going to be kicking off in just a couple of days on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. All the details have been released. You can find those at your favorite news outlets. Join Dota, Gosu Gamers, Reddit, Team Liquid, etc. So check out all those details. Zenith advances. And will be closing this game out momentarily. 33 minutes. Going to be just about 34 minutes on the money as the Ancient blows. And Naga. Come on, Naga. Zenith. Zenith. There they go. Down it goes. Neolution.Thai, you made a fan out of me, guys, and I'm still your fan. I will always be your fan. Hope to see you guys back in action, but Zenith slams the door shut and secures a Game 2 win. They advance to Phase 3 of the G1 Champions League Asia Qualifier.